What do you make of the Jays being as red hot as they are?
Well, it's pretty darn impressive what they're doing now. It's not just, 15 out of 20, 7 out of 10. I think they've gone 33 and 14. That's a pretty good chunk of the season. Mm-hmm. And you look at their roster and you look at the way they're doing it, and it's not entirely clear how they're doing this, which is a really good sign. If it were obvious, look at this starting pitching. It's unstoppable. Or this bullpen, which has been very good, by the way, has been unbelievable. Or look how many home runs they hit. The only thing you can point to is that they don't strike out very much. They strike out fewer times than anybody else. And maybe the ball's in play, maybe the tough at-bats they take are leading to something good. But where they are right now is a pretty strong position in a winnable division. So I am thoroughly impressed with the way that the Blue Jays have played now for almost 50 games. That's a third of the season nearly, and that's impressive.
Tim, if you go back to the way the season ended last year, then a lot of the offseason conversations about what could happen if the season goes off the rails for the upper management, the president, those types of positions. So they are where they are now. How much does this surge this year change the future in those two positions moving forward?
Well, I think it shows that maybe we were a little premature saying we got to make some moves here. I know I did a couple of network shows early on in the season and said, well, you got to fire the manager, don't you? And I said, I don't think that's the right thing to do right now. I'm wrong a lot. We are all wrong a lot in baseball. But as it turned out, we were right in keeping John Schneider as the manager and Ross Atkins, because right now they're in first place by 3 games in the American League East. So this is why you can't ever give up on baseball. The Nationals in 2019 were 19 and 31, and they went on to win the World Series. Last year, the Tigers were an afterthought until the middle of August, when they won a game in Williamsport on Sunday night, beating the Yankees in the 9th inning, and that's when they turned. So there's no telling with this beautiful game of baseball when the light's going to go on. And maybe the light has gone on for the Blue Jays. And what they also have working for them is that, the Red Sox aren't great, the Yankees aren't great, the Rays aren't great, and the Orioles are stumbling. So it's a winnable division, and they're playing better than anyone in the division right now.
Yeah, they sure are. And, again, you look at the lineup, Ernie Clement is going to lead off tonight. Jimenez is playing second, but obviously not bringing really anything offensively. Miles Straw is playing center field. Lord Perfito's out and right. It's kind of wild. Like, if you looked at this roster last year and they were on pace for 76 wins, and now this year they're on pace for, mid-90s. And it's pretty incredible. And you mentioned, a couple of the more recent teams, like in 19 with the Nationals and last year with the Tigers. In 15, the Jays were famously 50 and 51, and they put their chips in the middle and went out and got Tulowitzki. They went out and got Price, and they were the hottest team in the league the rest of the way and made it all the way to the ALCS in back-to-back years. So with that in mind, the Jays, this current roster is clearly in a much better position. What would your projection be? I'm sure you've been asked a lot. Like, what is your projection on what the Jays do between now and the trade deadline?
Well, you're going to be in there with so many other teams looking for another hitter and another pitcher. I think everyone needs to look towards the Diamondbacks right now because they have probably the best hitter available, Eugenio Suarez, who's got 35 homers and consecutive games with multi-homers. And he's a slightly above average defensive third baseman. He didn't used to be, but he is now. He's a team leader and a clubhouse force. So he would be perfect for the Blue Jays, but he would be perfect for every other team that needs a hitter, Yankees, Mets, Cubs, and things like that. Also, they have a couple of pitchers for the Diamondbacks that could help any team. Merrill Kelly, free agent at the end of the year. So I think we really got to keep our eyes on the Diamondbacks first as to what they're going to do. My guess is, from what I'm told, they're going to sell. The question is, to whom are they going to sell, and are the Blue Jays going to be, right in the middle of this? My guess is they won't be, because the teams that need players usually have more resources and more money to deal with than the Blue Jays do. That is the Mets and the Yankees. So it's going to be tough to get exactly what they want, but I wouldn't mess too much with the way the team is playing right now.
Well, Tim, that kind of gets at one of the issues with the deadline this year is there's just not a lot out there that seems like it's like readily available. How do front offices usually confront a problem like that when like the starting pitching is like you mentioned Merrill Kelly, like Zach Allen, like those guys might not be upgrades on Gausman, on Barrios. Like how do you handle that if you're a front office when what's out there is like kind of okay and like maybe better but maybe not? Like do you just do nothing? Do you go to a different need? Like how do you think that they handle a situation like that this year especially?
Yeah, well, this is why I've heard from more than one person over the years. General managers earn all their money right now. Are we in it or are we out of it? Are we sellers or are we buyers? Are we going for it or are we going to sit pat here? And those decisions can affect an organization depending on the organization for years to come. So these are the difficult questions that have to be answered. Is Zach Gallen really an upgrade? Is he your fourth starter when you get him? Are there three starters better than him on the Blue Jays right now? Because if he's going to be your fourth starter, you can't give up a significant amount to get him. Now, if you say, all right, he's our number 2 starter, he's that good, maybe that's a different story. But this is where you have to value players and assign value and say, this guy can really help us here. And I agree. I just don't see a tremendous market out there for starting pitchers who can make a difference and hitters who can make a difference. Now, there are going to be relief pitchers everywhere. You know, someone like Griffin Jacks of the Twins might move, and he could really help some teams. You know, Kyle Finnegan of the Nationals likely will be available. He could help some teams. This is where most teams add to their team at the trade deadline is with relievers, because you win a great deal in the postseason with a deep, versatile bullpen.